इस महान आदमी का हम पर इतना कर्ज है कि ये वीडियो शेयर करना हम सबका फर्ज है।
ओके, इसको चेंज कर दीजिए, लगा दीजिए इसको उधर तक दीजिए। हाँ ठीक है, ओके। गुड इवनिंग दोस्तों। It's a great pleasure. Today is the third day. Honorable Sidbao ji, कान लगाने साहब, my dear friends, 3 दिन कैसे हो गए पता ही नहीं चला, right? So today is the conclusion day, which I was working for last 1 year. आप में से कितने लोग? How many of you have participated in the question answer round? Many of you, most of you, right? Some of you. The question is of why we get ill. If I am ill, what I can do so that I can get cured. Fastest, safest and permanent cure. That is a basic question. That you can achieve only when you understand what is the problem at the very first place. Without understanding the problem, whatever may be the problem, we cannot find the solution. So today is a time of solution, but before that I'll introduce you to the problem from a new perspective. From headache to heart attack, from common cold to cancer. It is easy to reverse it if you really understand what it is all about. So now you see, as I told you, about 300 years back, there was a collection of number of illness with which the human can die. At that time, maybe about 80, 81 disease was the total number. And then I told you, up to 1990, the collection went out to 8,000. And now maybe 10,000 or maybe more. But that is to confuse the mind, 8,000, 10,000. In simple way, man cannot die of 10,000 ways or 8,000 ways. There are simple process in the body. If we understand the process, we can help ourselves reverse it. Of course, someday we have to die, but why to die of illness? Why to die of pain? You see, the wild animal, they also die, but the pain is not there. They don't die of pain. They die either killed by other animal, killed by accident, and otherwise, when they are old, one day they die. So the peaceful death. So that is one thing which I think that the last part of the life should be a wonderful part. And here in India especially, you see, the last 10 years of the life, you spend all the money which you have saved in several years, isn't it? So, but after that also, are we able to get the health for which we have saved those money? So let's try to understand, to make your understanding easy and to make you understanding in a way that you can implement it when you are back. I have devised something what I call as the game of life, GOL. Do you have it with you right now? Okay. So this is a reference. When you are in a process of curing anybody, treating anybody, understanding the disease, deciding what should be the diet, what are the content. So this is the reference. And those who are watching me on YouTube or Facebook, those who are watching me live, for them, you can go to my site, bishwaroop.com/GOL, and you can get the printout of this. And once you get the printout, then you are in track. It will be easy for you to understand this part of the training. There's a conclusion part. So coming straight to the point, medical science is in 2 parts. One is called observational study and one is called reductionist theory. Presently, whatever you know about medical science, mostly it is this one, reductionist theory. What is reductionist theory? I will just give one example to make you understand. For example, I take one supplement, Nutrilite omega-3 fatty acid. And it is good for health or bad for health, we have to find out. So, what is reductionist theory? They give a patient or anybody this omega-3 for few days and they check their blood sugar, triglyceride, cholesterol, and if they see before giving This supplement, it was high, and after getting it for 1 month, again they test, the cholesterol level come down, triglyceride come down, blood sugar come down. This means this is good or bad for the health, right? So conventionally, okay, this is how we decide, medical science decide whether a thing is good or bad, right? This is called reductionist theory. That is a lab analysis, and the result based on some numbers. The result is based on not the person's health, how he's feeling, that is not considered. There is nothing like that. There is no questionnaire how you are feeling, right? What is your energy level? There is nothing like that. There is only some numbers. This means the human body is all about some numbers. So this is called reductionist theory. That is, what was the number before and what was the number after. And on the basis of that, you come to some conclusion, and accordingly you propagate. Now, what is observational study? What will happen if a person keeps on consuming this product for some years? Let's say 15 years. If for 15 years, about 2 lakh people, they keep on consuming that product, then what will happen? That is observing the people. Trying not to test their blood sugar, etc., but observing the people, that is following up for many, many years. And the result says, British Medical Journal 2006, risk and benefit of omega-3 fatty fat and for mortality, cardiovascular disease and cancer. The result says, if you keep on consuming this product for long time, your chances of dying of cancer, chances of dying of heart disease, your chance of dying early increases. So on one side, reductionist theory says it is good for it because the lab report is showing so, but on other side, observational study, it says that the people who are on this kind of product, they are dying early, they are more suffering from heart disease, they are more prone to cancer, they are fatter than other people. So as a consumer, you have both the result in your hand. Which one you think you should believe? You should adopt reductionist theory, observational study. Obviously observation, because we are not interested in any particular number. I want to achieve 100 as blood sugar number. I am not interested in that. I want to achieve a perfect health. At every moment I should feel good. I should be full of energy. I should be having no kind of no pain. I am able to sleep, and then it should be a wonderful sleep. If this is achievable, if I can feel that, then no matter what is the number, what is blood sugar, what is cholesterol, what is for that matter any other parameter. So, but here important thing is, let's say you are a pharmaceutical company, then observation study you will not favor because that will take long time. You cannot wait for a product to be launched after 15 years of watching some control group. You are in a hurry to launch it. For you as a company, it is more beneficial if you go by this reductionist theory rather than going by observation study, right? So for a company, this is good. For the consumer, this is good, right? So here we are the consumer. So this is good. So this means my strategy of reversing the disease is based on those studies which were done more or less on this theory, observational study, right? Here, my research work, I tried to apply law of physics in medical science. And if you can understand this, it will be easy for you. Law of physics in medical science. Law of physics, Newton's third law. In medical science, I used observation study on human body. What is Newton's third law? Every action is having equal and opposite reaction. So this one simple sentence, if you understand every illness and you understand how to cure it. As simple as that. Let's see, one by one. Loosely, I can fit law of physics, third law, in medical science in the human body. Action, jaundice. If you suffer from jaundice, reaction, you will not suffer from arthritis. For example, somebody is having severe arthritis in lot of pain, and suddenly he suffers from jaundice, arthritis will vanish. Interesting. And other way around also, right? So, if somebody is suffering from arthritis, but he or she cannot bear that pain, so she has an option that you suffer from, you can choose jaundice. In that case, the arthritis will vanish. Right? So, and this means every action in the body is giving an equal and opposite reaction. And what is the controlling point in between them which controls both of them? And in this case, the example, it is cortisol, that is an hormone. So whenever something happens in the body, something else also happens in the body. Action, reaction. Then there is a mediator. In this case, it is cortisol. So this was discovered in 1940, and in 1950 for this discovery, Hench, a scientist, he got a Nobel Prize, 1950, right? So action, there is a reaction. For example, the action, as I told yesterday, if you suffer from asthma, intestinal cancer will start going away, right? So action, one disease, other disease is vanishing. Interesting. But here the important thing I want you to focus, that is the controlling factor. In this case, you know what is the controlling factor? A bacteria. Last example, the controlling factor was a hormone. Here, a bacteria, which controls, right? Which balances between the two. If it is less, causing asthma. If it is more, causing cancer, right? So this means if you don't want to have any of them, you have to balance. When the balance is out, every action will bring equal and opposite reaction. In this case, the mediator is a bacteria. In the previous case, the mediator was a hormone. So another example, viral attack. Action, suffering from viral disease, and the reaction, body is resistant to other viral attack. So rarely the person will suffer two viral attacks. If you are suffering from dengue, you cannot suffer from H1N1. So body become resistant to other viral attack, right? So if you are suffering from one viral attack, you are protected, reaction, from rest of the viral attack. So action, the reaction. And the controlling factor here is immunity. So when the immunity loses the balance, you catch a disease, but since it has lost the balance, at the same time you got protected from something else. So this science, if you understand, then you understand how to balance it easily, right? So you have to understand, if something bad happened in your body, something good must be happening there. But you don't want anything bad, that means you have to balance it. That is the third law of Newton's third law trying to apply in human body. So here the balancing factor was, the mediator was your immunity. So in the last example, the mediator was a bacteria. And the first example, the mediator was hormone. So there are three mediators which controls your health. Three mediators which controls your health. Your health depends on these three mediators. Now, how to control these three? Now you see, each corner represents one of the factor. One is immunity, other is hormone, and third is bacteria. If I interfere with one of them, for example, immunity, I interfere by giving some vaccination, the immunity goes down, but other two goes up. Action, reaction, equal and opposite reaction, right? If you try to interfere with one of them, the rest two will get disturbed. Action, reaction. So the most important thing is don't interfere, right? Whenever you are confused about, should I go for vaccination, should I take that antibiotic, should I take the drugs? Imagine this, the moment you interfere, the body loses the balance totally. Every action, equal and opposite reaction. So it is double loss. So the most important thing is don't interfere at all. Don't interfere at all. Whatever may be the disease at this moment, I heard you very carefully in these 2 days, especially in those 4 hours, or 8-9 hours we spent together, right? So sadly, some of you, your known people are suffering from a disease which is really painful, really painful. When it is too much of pain, sometimes that patient that they loses the mental balance, and in a desperation to get some relief, they make a wrong decision. Wrong decision means interfering with the body system and getting even more pain. Right? You are in pain, I understand. But what is the point of disturbing the body? The moment you disturb the body, the body cannot get healed. And here, to disturb the body, there are three ways. One is the vaccination, one way. Second is antibiotic, the other way. Third is the drugs. Whatever drug you may be taking, it may be the blood sugar medication, you interfere with the hormone. In this case, the hormone is insulin. Then the blood pressure medication you take, again you interfere with the hormone. So whenever you take any drugs, you loses this balance, action, opposite reaction. Immunity is disturbed, microbes are disturbed, right? Similarly, whenever you take antibiotic, action, reaction, rest of the two are disturbed. So whenever it comes in your mind, should I or should I not? The answer is always, should not. Very simple, right? In this, these many years of 100 years of medicines, modern medicine, there has not been even a single case where some medication, if you see very closely, from a distance it looks that I told you yesterday, from a distance it looks that the infectious disease has vanished. But today if I ask you, cancer, is it an infectious disease or lifestyle disease? Maybe you have to think twice. The cancer in the body, there is a microbe connection. If it is a microbe connection, it cannot be solely called as lifestyle. It cannot be solely called as lifestyle disease because there is a microbe connection, right? So, our understanding of the disease, if that is not clear, we cannot get the solution. So, the first important thing, from a distance it may seem that some medicine has contributed in extending the life, but if you look very, very carefully, minutely, very closely, then the picture may be totally different, which we tried to understand in last 2 days, but today is more about what we have to do. I'll give you one example to make you understand. For example, the trend in the school today, a small child, routinely he has to take some kind of antibiotic, routinely he will take some kind of vaccination, and okay, he's a small child, he may not be on any kind of drugs for most of the children. But now you see vaccine plus antibiotic plus especially cow's milk. Here I want you to understand, cow's milk means animal protein. For most of the children, animal protein in the stomach is not digested. Body absorbs it. And when the body absorbs something, it is a food or a medicine. It is a drug, right? For some children, the body is not able to break the protein, digest the protein, but instead, body gives it a treatment of a drug. It absorbs it. And the moment anything is absorbed, even if you took it with the intention it is a food, but the body assumed it is not a food, it is a drug. And the moment you are taking a drug, what is happening? You are disturbing one of the corner. In this case, you are disturbing the hormonal balance. And the moment you disturb one of the balance, action, reaction, right? So, people ask me why you say one should not drink cow's milk, because one can drink cow's milk or anything, but it should be a food for the body. If it is not a food for the body, if it is a drug for the body, this means your body is not meant for that particular food. Only thing is that you are thinking it is a food, but in reality it is not a food. It looks like a food, it is sold like a food. Similarly, let me remind you, all kind of refined food is not a refined food, it becomes a refined drug. Because body is partially absorbing it. And the moment it absorbs anything, one of the corner, the hormone get disturbed, and the moment it happens, the other two corner, action, reaction, it gets disturbed, and the whole homeostasis of the body balance is broken, and this means you are in a trap, what we call as illness. So here, you see, vaccine, antibiotic, and this milk, in this case, it is a drug. If it is absorbed, then overactive immunity, and that leads to autoimmune disease. And when we talk of autoimmune disease, there are so many diseases, and one of them which is spreading very, very fast among children is diabetes type 1. I want you to take this message and spread in your city. Right? I want your cooperation in spreading in your city. Maybe the problem with the diabetes type 1, those children look like other healthy children only. Maybe your next door neighbor child is a type 1 diabetes patient, but you will never know, because out of stigma they will hide that diabetes status, right? They will never tell. Only they know, and their doctors knows. When the child goes for the school, they give an injection, and when the child comes, secretly they give another injection before sleeping, another dose. That is how it is happening. But diabetes type 1 is much more than what you can imagine. But as a practitioner of health, we can make a change, we can make a difference. What is the difference? The day a child is first diagnosed with high blood sugar, I am not saying first diagnosed with diabetes, first diagnosed with high blood sugar, or first diagnosed with excess urination. From that day, instantly, instead of giving him insulin, if the child is put on a particular diet, so the track of the life will be totally changed, and within few days, or few days means 3 to 4 days, it will come back to normal, and he is going to lead a normal life. But instead, what is happening, the moment he is diagnosed with high blood sugar, the first thing they do, immediately they put the child on insulin. And that means the child is now lifelong insulin dependent. I call the child is almost a kind of handicapped child. Only thing is he looks normal, but it is also a handicap, because every time they need to eat a food, they have to think how much food I am eating, what is the amount of carbohydrate, and accordingly they have to adjust and take that insulin. And in the middle, if he thinks that I don't want to eat anymore, but he is forced because he has already taken that much amount of insulin in anticipation of the amount of food which he thought that he will consume. So something which is effortless for us, right? For them, it is a huge task. If not for them, for their parents, it is a huge task. And it is very, very common, very, very common when the diabetes type 1 patients, parents come to me and they are so sad, so broken. Most of them, they say that we want to die. We want to commit suicide, because 3 times, 4 times a day pricking a child, that is something which is really, really something emotionally very, very sad, and for the whole family. And at the top of it, they have to hide it. The trend is that they hide it from the rest of the society. So you can save the child, you can save the family by spreading the message. And the message is, the first time the child is diagnosed with high sugar, you have to change the diet, right? From that moment, instead of putting him on insulin. What is the diet? I am coming to it within few minutes. But this one thing which you can say here, the parents, if you find any parent, the first thing they are taught is diabetes type 1 lifelong dependency on insulin. If the child is on insulin, so no matter what, he has to be on insulin. It is a lie. It is a lie. Right? I have several patients, children, those who are not on insulin, they had been on insulin. It is a lie. And the chances that he will never be on insulin is very, very high if from the first day they take the right step. The right step is, instead of putting on insulin, put on the DIP kind of diet, the kind of diet which I am going to tell you in detail. Right? So, and second lie is, beta cell cannot be regenerated. So you see, except some brain cell and some heart cells, all kind of cells in the body, they can regenerate. So what is the exception about beta cells? It can be regenerated. But with this belief, the parents loses the hope, and they are on continuous dependency on insulin. And that is a new kind of handicap among the society. So it is your responsibility now, not just me and my team, because now you also know equally as I know, as my team know, right? So when you go home, I think that will not be the end of this training, that will be the beginning of the training, because now you are in the practicing mode. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now here, you see 3 main dimensions, and if you knowingly or unknowingly disturb one of them, action, the rest of them will get disturbed. This thing we have to understand. So we have to see that anything which may disturb any one of them, we have to avoid that for us and for our children. That stand you can take from today, right? So what happens normally, human brain is not logical. Human being is not a logical being. Human being is emotional being. Emotional being means बाकी लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, what the other people are doing, what the masses are doing, what the people will say, what the people will think, right? We are more influenced by what rest of us are doing. We are not influenced by what is truth, what is correct, what is logical. Logical is okay, but at the time when I've seen many naturopaths, those they know all this theory, but when it comes to them, they go to the same hospital, for which they are criticizing, right? So we have to come out of it. We have to be having a strength to break that belief pattern. Now, very simple and very important slide I'm going to show. Microbe and immunity. These are the two important things which you have to understand. They are in constant communication with each other. If microbes are friendly, immunity is balanced, right? If the microbes are not friendly, immunity is not balanced. So let me give you one slide to make you understand. You see, this is your stomach lining. This is a stomach lining. Just under the stomach lining, under the stomach skin, this is called dendritic cell. Do you remember dendritic cell? The superstar, right? Oh, police bhi wahi hai aur sara kuch hi wahi hai, right? This is the dendritic cell, and one of the antennae, I call it antennae, it extends out and talks to the microbe. Can you see that? It extends out of the skin and it interacts with the bacteria which is set on the outer lining of your stomach, right? So there is a constant interaction, and based on the feedback given by the microorganism which is lying on your stomach, this dendritic cell, they make the decision. What is the kind of decision? That is pro-inflammation, anti-inflammation. Do I inflame, right? Or do I not inflame? And there is a balance. Balance can happen only when those are friendly bacteria. So the dendritic cell, which constitute of 95% of your immunity, they do not operate on their own. They also depend on the microbe. So this is very interesting. And microbe is something which we can change within few days, which we have understood just yesterday. If that is so, this means even if we had been sick, even if we are sick, there is a hope that we can come out of it. That is a good thing, right? Even if immunity may not be working, but now it can work. Here, if the microbes are not friendly, resistant bacteria, then this means the kind of information they will give to the dendritic cell, they may not be good for us, right? They may not be the kind of information which can keep your body healthy. And if the wrong information is passed to dendritic cell, that is called dendritic cell dysfunction. Means either it will overwork or it will underwork, right? Either it will be overactive or underactive. If it is overactive, different kind of illness. Underactive, different kind of illness. Only when it is balanced, no illness, right? So let's try to understand this. Now you see, here it is very important. I need two of you on the stage. I need two. 1, 2. You. Yeah, you go. 2. नहीं कुछ चाहिए नहीं. Thank you. Now, please come. They are welcomed with some gift. Wonderful. Come. So, you take this. What happens when you eat something? They are going to demonstrate with this. What you have to do, you just have to open it. Yeah. You closely watch. Okay, great. Great. Now you see what happened. You hold on. He could get the gift very quickly, but she still sees opening it. Carry on opening it. Okay. Wonderful. Now, this is, you can open that. So, because here what happened, there was 3 layers of cover. She took longer time. Only 1 layer of cover. Shorter time, obviously, right? So, here go back to the PPT. PPT.